Vignasante is a village in the Tumkur district of Karnataka, located approximately 140 kilometers from Bangalore. Historically, this village had other names such as Agraharada Vijayagopalapura and Iganasanthe, which later became Vignasante. The Lakshminarasimha Temple in this village is a Hoysala period construction dedicated to Lord Vishnu. It is a north-facing temple. A modern-day gate guards the northern boundary of the temple. Beyond this gate, there are remnants of what seems to be a Mahadwara that may have existed in the north. According to an inscription stone on the northeast corner of the temple, it was built in 1286 AD by three brothers, Appaya, Gopala, and Madhava, when Veera Narasimha III was the ruling Hoysala king. These three brothers were officials in the Hoysala army. Their father, Mallideva, was also a general in the king's army. They obtained this village, then named Vignasante, from the king and made it an agrahara for the Brahmins. They also built this temple with three gods, Keshava, Gopala, and Narasimha. The banner of this inscription slab has miniature sculptures of the three gods that are enshrined here. This is the plan of the temple. It is built in a Trikuta style with three sanctums, the main one in the south and the other two in the east and west directions. In front, there is a Mukhamantapa or porch with two pillars that opens into a hall, the navaranga or sabhamantapa that has four pillars. The three sanctums open into this hall. Only the southern sanctum has a vestibule and a tower on top of the sanctum. The other two cells do not have vestibule or tower. The first structure you will encounter in front is this porch or Mukhamantapa. On the parapet of the roof of this porch, there is a figure of dancing Ganesha. At the entrance, there are two greenstone elephants shown marching along with some warriors in front. The Mukhamantapa is an open square and is supported in front by two lathe-turned pillars. These pillars have many transverse grooves and beadwork on them. There is a jeweled band with lion faces and beaded designs. On top of these two pillars, there are brackets. At the corners of these brackets, lions are shown rearing upon the heads of elephants. The ceiling of this porch is a deep dome with concentric circles, with lotus bud in the center. The lower part of this dome has various carvings, including the 8 Dikpalakas, Gandharvas, Garuda, lions, peacocks, etc. The porch leads into the navaranga. The doorway of the navaranga is carved with many shakas, and the door jambs have Vaishnava Dwarapalas below. There is relief carving of Venugopala on the lintel and Yoga Narasimha in the architrave. The original stone benches and railings around the porch have disappeared. They have reconstructed the stone seats with modern day stones and cement. The navaranga has 4 pillars set on an elevated floor in the center. The central ceiling of the navaranga is decorated with lotus motif with bud in the center. Against the south wall of the navaranga, idols are placed of Vijayagopalapura and Mahishasuramardini. There are 3 sanctums that open into this navaranga. The east cell is dedicated to Venugopala. The 5 feet Krishna is shown standing with his legs crossed under a tree. He is playing flute. Cowherds, cows, gods and rishis are shown listening intently to his flute. Below, on either sides, there are consorts with chamara bearers. 10 avatars of Vishnu are carved on the fringes of the Torana above. The west cell is dedicated to Lakshminarasimha. Lakshminarasimha is seated in Sukhasana, holding chakra, padma, gada and shanka, with Lakshmi seated on his left lap. Prahalada, Kailasa mountain and an elephant with uplifted head are also carved on this idol. The temple gets its name from this god even though it's not in the main cell, possibly because Narasimha was the reigning king at that time. The south cell is dedicated to Keshava. The 5 feet idol of Keshava is shown with consorts on each side. The 10 avatars of Vishnu are carved on the Torana. The external walls of the temple are relatively simple. The base has 5 moldings, of which 3 are carved. One of them has a scroll frieze. Another row has vase-shaped carvings with beaded pendants below. And the third row has carved makara faces interspersed with flowers or floral hangings. The upper part of the wall is relatively simple and has pilasters and lotus reliefs. On top of the main shrine in the south, there is a Dravida style shikara with 3 tires or talas, crowned by a Padma cap and a kalasha. There are deities in the central panjaras at the 3 levels of the roof and in the decorative nasi in the closing cap. The 4 deities in various directions of the tower are as follows. In the east, from below up, Ugra Narasimha, Govardhanadhari Krishna, Dancing Parvati and Narayana. In the south, from below up, Yoga Narasimha, Vamana, dancing Saraswati, and Madhava. In the west, from below up, Krishna in Kalinga Mardana, Venugopala, dancing Lakshmi, and standing Vishnu. The kutas are also depicted with miniature Vaishnava deities. On top of the Antarala, there is a Sukanasi or roof projection. The front face of the Sukanasi has a large Kirtimukha bearing an image of Garuda. The lower tala of the tower continues as the parapet of the roof in front. The eaves of the parapet have carvings of a row of vases with horseshoe arches, another row of Makara, and a third row of tower Shikara with Kirtimukhas and lion heads. In the last row are interspersed a series of niches containing seated yakshas or figures of gods. Around 200 meters from the Lakshminarasimha Temple, there is the Bala Lingeshwara Temple, another Hoysala-era construction dedicated to Shiva.